Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Straight Facts Commentary where I give you my unpopular opinions in everything pop culture. So please stick around and subscribe for more. Hey y'all, I am back again with another video, and in today's video, you see the title, we are going to be speaking about Normani and the fans and what everybody's talking about in regards to her first week sales for her album Dopamine. So if you're interested in that, pop conspiracy theories, trending topics, my popular opinion, whatever I feel like getting into for real, then go on ahead and subscribe and let's get into this video. Okay, so as you guys may or may not know, Normani has dropped her debut album Dopamine, and I have already talked about it a couple of times. I made a review video going into the songs I liked and didn't like. I also talked about the promotional aspect and the rollout. I reviewed singles. Like, I've been through this era from pretty much start to finish, more or less top to bottom. And so the first week's sales for the album are finally out. I do want to talk about it because I've talked about everything else in regards to this album, so leaving this out would seem a little bit weird to do. I also do want to emphasize for anybody who might be on edge, I don't think that Billboard chart placements and first week sales are everything. I do think that it does carry some weight and relevance though when it comes to mainstream artists and where they are to the general public and their fans commercially. So it's not an irrelevant conversation. I just don't think it is the focal point of a conversation when it comes to an album, but it is important for mainstream artists and artists who are attached to major record labels. Major record labels do want to see the turnover results being positive for the general public and for mainstream sales, charts, positioning, first week, stuff like that. Like, that is relevant for mainstream artists and people who are attached to big corporations. So we're not gonna like sit here and pretend like there is no relevancy when it comes to that, but I do recognize that it is not the full capacity of something. I do believe that public perception and how fans truly care about the album, if they're streaming it, if they're praising it, if there's a lot of inside buzz within a fan base, I think that that's just as important. So yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way. I did want to talk about it though, and also get everybody's perspective on what do they feel about this? Do we feel like this is good, bad, in between? Like, does this make sense for Normani's debut? Does it make zero sense at all? Like, I really want to gain perspectives from people who are casual listeners of Normani, super fans, and whatever else. So what's being said is Normani's Dopamine enters at number 91 on this week's Billboard 200 charts for albums and 12K sold for the album units. So for me, I wasn't really too shocked to see this when I did see it, because after this past week and even before the album dropped, getting all the reception, getting all the feedback, and getting everybody's reviews in, I'm not really surprised to see this number because the reception for the album all in all has been a little bit mixed, like I was telling you guys in my promo video. So I'm not surprised by the number in terms of the public's reaction, but I am surprised by the number because I would have thought that she would sell a lot more because of the hype and the conversation surrounding Normani for years and years and years leading up to this debut. So because there's been so much conversation and anticipation and even Beyonce comparisons and, performance and, hype, and everybody saying how much they love Normani and they can't wait for her to return and da 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 da, and they're like really wanting the album and they're really wanting this and they're really wanting that and they're pushing for this and pushing for that. There's just so much conversation online around Normani. I thought that, the fan base or the people who were getting ready to stream the album were a lot larger, and that we're going to, I was going to be shocked at the amount of sales because, Normani's fan base came through. And not to say that they didn't come through, like, obviously, the people who bought the album were the fan base who came through. But I assumed that there was just going to be a larger pool because I thought there were more people who were supporting Normani on a larger scale. I mean, we've seen artists do worse sales than this, so I'm not even going to say that, oh, it's just god awful, but it's not amazing. It's not what I thought it was going to be, comparison to, like I said, all of the conversation that has been happening around Normani for years. Irregardless of the sales, though, I think Normani should be extremely proud of herself. She's worked hard up until this point. She's probably been anticipating dropping this project. She's gone through a lot. Like, sometimes it always doesn't, turn out exactly how you want or how you wish or how you hope. It might not be like this huge thing, but you should still be proud of whatever it is that you did or whatever that you do, because if you love that thing, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you're proud of it, and you love it, and the people closest to you love it, and your fan base loves it, then really that's all that matters. You know what I mean? So she should be proud of herself. She shouldn't feel away. I hope she doesn't take it too hard or feel like, because people on the internet are interneting. The fans, whether they're, well, not Normani fans, they're just people who are clowning the album. I say fans very loosely. I mean, just generalized fans when I say fans are, making fun of her and things like that. And I don't like that type of energy. I would never give that out to someone and be like, "Oh, you're flopping, you're this and that," and just make fun of them and taunt them, because I feel like, especially Normani, because like she's been through so much and she has worked so hard up until this point, that I just don't like the nastiness that's directed towards her. To me, it's unwarranted to be nasty towards her because she hasn't done anything to deserve it. So, like, for example, ooh, excuse me. Camila Cabello is getting ready to put out an album and everything like that. And Camila Cabello has offended a lot of people. She has said, derogatory things that people don't appreciate. She has had a lot of accusations put upon her. And then she's also apologized for a lot of things that she has done. So, like, people don't already like Camila because of that, whether she apologized or not. Some people don't mess with it. So it would make more sense if like people were like clowning Camila and saying, "Oh, that's what you get. You're a flop. You're this. You're that. We don't like you." Da da da. Because there's a reason behind that trolling and hate, if that makes sense. Like, people already don't mess with her because she's done things to put people off in the past. But Normani literally hasn't done anything, I feel like, at all to deserve any type of like people just being mean. But it's the internet. It's the internet. How could you expect anything less, for real? But yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to get into some things that people are saying, generalized thoughts, and some people are being trolly, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so here are some comments reacting to the album announcement. Her album was actually fire, and all the people talking trash couldn't even sell 100 albums. Y'all drag everyone for having low numbers. Let's keep that same energy across the board. Y'all move the goalposts too much for me. It's sick. Call it what it is to allow her to grow. This is a flop. I ain't gonna lie, this was a pretty solid album, but yeah, let me go stream Insomnia. These girls are not selling. Await to hear the excuses for Miss 3-time Grammy winner. What does this have to do with like, why are people bringing other people into this? Only certain celebs get this type of sympathy. I'm waiting for next Friday to see the first week sales of Bigfoot. Oh my god, because I'm trying to laugh even more. What? Because y'all be going in at Nicki Minaj for her sales, but every fan base that talks about the Barbs still can't pass most of Nicki's first week album sales. So let the games begin. Okay, but what does this have to do with Megan Thee Stallion or Nicki Minaj, for that matter? We're talking about Normani, I thought. Had she never turned her back on Nicki, her album would have been a top 5. When are these girls going to learn to stop going against the queen? The Barbs is a tough army to defeat. Um, so apparently, I think this whole rhetoric is coming from Normani had an issue allegedly, or the Barbs speculate that Normani had an issue with Nicki. They stopped communicating, and that she switched sides, like Cardi B's side. She did Wild side, and her and Nicki don't acknowledge each other anymore. So fans speculate there's a beef between them, even though neither of them came out to say anything about this. So now I guess the Barbs are trying to say the reason why Normani's album didn't do so well is because the Barbs weren't supporting it. Yeah, I don't her label sucks. She deserves much more. Y'all trippin', her album is fire. Been in rotation since it dropped. Y'all trippin', her album is fire. Album actually hits for a debut. Congratulations, Normani. 12K. Where are all the so-called fans that be all over social media in the comments acting like they love her so much? I feel like those fans did stream and are streaming. That's the thing. It just might not be as many of them as we thought. The album was ASS. It all sounded like adults kid spot. Too bad Miss Minaj didn't get the same rules. You called the Queen of Flop. I don't really feel like they should even be compared or in the same conversation, to be honest with you. Okay, on to Twitter, the most toxic comments of them all. Poor Normani. I just bust out laughing. Congrats. Beyonce next of kin selling 12K is embarrassing. Watch the official video of That's somebody promoting something. Higher than any Bia songs. What? What does Bia? Why is Normani getting compared to female rappers like Nicki, Bia, Megan? Like what? Huh? Can we like what? More people tweeted about this album than actually buying or streaming. If you call yourself a fan of her and didn't buy the album, then don't be asking why the album flopped. You are also the reason why it did. Ooh, well, I'm hoping the people who were gung ho about everything did buy and stream because that would make sense. I don't know why y'all are complaining. Tyla, Chloe, Victoria, Tinashe, Arya, Lotto, Sweetie, other pop girls have sold around the same, unless you're Beyonce, Rihanna, and Taylor. All of the shea butter love on Twitter never translates. Damn. She will be avenged. Yeah, I feel like that too. I feel like maybe once she recalibrates, she'll do better next time. Good morning, bestie. Well, but with all the attention it got when she first announced it, oh, all of that Twitter hype don't mean ish. Yeah, but we know at this point, at least I would think we know at this point, that sometimes social media hype and praise doesn't necessarily translate to sales. It just depends. Well, it's not like she didn't set herself up for this. Good album though. At least it debuted inside the top 100. She deserves so much better. Our predictions were higher than this, but this is an all-time low. I'm still so proud of Normani for releasing a solid debut R&B album. She did what needed to be done with this. Yeah, I'm proud of her too. I mean, again, anything you're putting your hard work, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into, I'm proud of the person. If Shea Butter Twitter gonna do one thing, they gonna let their fave flop. Not even 20K. Oh, it's bad for her. Damn, even Tyla outsold. Did she? I don't know what Tyla's numbers were. I don't keep up with Tyla like that. Deserved way more. Hoarding an album for 6 years only to sell 12K is really nasty work. This is what happens when you wait 5 years and drop a little to nothing within those 5 years and your anticipation dies out. Okay, so that could be more of a fruitful tweet, of which maybe that makes more sense versus just trying to be rude and mean and funny. There could be something to that in terms of, it's been a long stretch of time and she didn't really drop a whole lot in between that time except for the album. So maybe people kind of lost interest. Who knows? User is probably okay. The next Beyonce, they said. Did that with no music video out, by the way. LMFAO, what? Shea Butter Twitter, where are y'all at? Megan and Cardi next. Again, it's like, uh, they are rappers. Normani is a pop slash R&B, like, not even in the same category. Can't believe y'all curling iron Twitter. Wow. I don't like that. Failed or railed behind her. Oh, rallied. I'm sorry. What the heck? Rallied behind her. All of those hit tweets just for her, just to let her fail. 7 years of waiting and begging for the album. Multiple viral tweets. Her fans laughed at Pink Friday too. Did they? See, I don't know anything about the Stan Wars. Were the Normani Nation people laughing at Pink Friday? I don't know. Debut just for her to do 12K. Y'all forced her to release an album for 5 years for 12K units. Okay, y'all. So somebody in the comments, y'all gonna have to inform me. Is there a beef going on between Normani's fans and Nicki's fans? I mean, I did hear about something, like I said, having to do with, allegedly them not messing with each other anymore. But again, regardless of that, I don't feel like her not selling super high is solely dependent upon one fan base, which would be the Barbs not supporting Normani, because Normani had her own fans outside of them. You know what I mean? But you guys let me know about that. But anyway, like I said, I just want to reiterate, like, I'm really proud of Normani, and I hope she doesn't let this get her down too much. Hopefully it fuels her and motivates her to continue to keep pushing and to do better. And, her drop her visuals, do whatever she needs to do. Hopefully she doesn't let it discourage her too much to where she wants to recoil or never make any more music again, because it's very easy to get discouraged by hate. It's very easy to get discouraged by what people would consider low numbers. It's very easy to get discouraged by your own view of yourself. So I just hope that she approaches it the best she can and tries to stay as positive as possible. So you guys let me know what you think about this. Bop, flop, terrible, great, decent. Just let me know. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. I love you lots. Bye.